on ESPN 106.3.
This team is going to be tough when they finally get it together.
Sit back and relax. Let Russo and Rizzo take you home.
Oh, mercy! Light him up, Colin!
It is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3 on the 18th of May, 2026. Welcome on in, folks. We got a little conference final action. Mike's Cleveland Cavaliers were able to outlast and survive on the road, win 2 straight road games against the Detroit Pistons yesterday. We got Colin Russo, we got Mike Rizzo, we got Delias Bustamante helping us out at the City Place Studios in downtown West Palm Beach. We're at FAU. In the athletic complex where the Luke Rosa Awards for girls flag football is going to be happening tonight at 6:30, 7 o'clock, honoring some of the top teams, top player in Palm Beach County for the flag football scene. So looking forward to that.
Zach Kitley, he's here, right?
The FAU head
he's
football
here,
coach?
right?
I think he should be joining us. No, he's not. He's not joining us
Okay.
tonight. Even though we're in his backyard. His office is probably within a stone's throw away.
I've heard great things. I'm actually really excited for what the Owls could look like next year. So, if Coach is listening, please jump on. Love to have you.
Coach Zach Kitley, I don't know.
Young guy.
Youngest coach in FBS. Youngest coach in the FBS.
Like the hire. I'd like the hire.
You know where he's from?
Where?
Ole Miss.
Okay. The SIP.
Yep. You know his big namesake? He was at Texas Tech when Mahomes was there. He's a quarterback coach.
Oh, nice.
Huh?
Nice.
He's a Cliff
Knows
King,
ball.
He's a
Knows ball. But, like, I loved the hire by FAU because young coach, hungry coach, wants to win.
And he's been there.
Yeah, and he wants to win.
But so
anyway,
we'll see if he's able to.
Yeah.
Coach Kitley. Coach Kitley. Give us a couple minutes.
Yes.
Jeez, you and I never get guests.
No.
How was your weekend?
It was good. Inter Miami was outstanding yesterday. Lionel Messi really in World Cup form. That was an absolute banger of a game. And Saturday was weird because usually the day off, Colin, is Sunday, but Saturday was the off day. So I kept thinking.
You like that better?
No, I couldn't stand it because I kept thinking at the Inter Miami game last night that I had tomorrow off. I was just out of whack. But Saturday was great, laid in the sun, relaxed, was able to play some video games for the first time in probably about 2 months. It was fun. I had a lot of fun watching the Cavs. The Premier League's wrapping up too. Manchester United, big winners yesterday as well. So a lot of these seasons I've been following all year long coming to an end, and we're gearing up for World Cup. But happy to be here today and happy to celebrate some flag football players later tonight.
Yeah, it should be good at the inaugural Luke Rosa Flag Football Awards, which is going to be taking place. We're going to have Dr. Jen Welter on a little later, who is a football veteran herself. She was a multi-time gold medalist with Team USA. She was the first woman to play a non-kicking position in a men's professional football league. So she will join us at around 5:20, and she also made history as one of the first female first female coach in the history of the NFL. So she joined the Arizona Cardinals about 10, 12 years ago. So we're looking forward to having her on in just about an hour. So we got a lot going on here. We got Mike Rizzo. We got Colin Russo. Cavs yesterday against the Detroit Pistons was a terrible game, not entertaining. Wasn't a huge fan of what went down throughout the game. But what I can say is that the Cavaliers showed a lot of guts. They showed a lot of pride in fact that comparatively to a team like Detroit, who kind of rolled in there half asleep, and they sort of fell apart. So Cavaliers going to be in a good spot going forward. Now they're going to have to turn around in 2 days and play a game 1 on the road against the New York Knicks. So you got a lot of, an interesting series there for a team that's on tired legs. But for Mike Rizzo's sake, you got to be happy that the Cleveland Cavaliers were able to kind of get ahead.
Very happy, Colin. I'm going to switch you to microphone 2 there. But, yes, absolutely. I walked in last night because I called the Inter Miami game. I walked in last night, Kyle, and I thought I was going to be able to watch the whole fourth quarter. And how these games have went, outside of Game 6, they've been dogfights. They've been games throughout the entire game, throughout the entire fourth quarter. Heroes have stepped up. It wasn't that case. This was a blowout. I mean, Evan Mobley played his socks off. I give him credit. The $60 million man
Mr.
earning
Cleveland.
his contract. Yeah, earning his contract. But this was, don't get it twisted, this was the moment for Donovan Mitchell to get over the hump. Now, you still, getting over the hump is a word. You haven't been to an NBA Finals yet.
Yeah, it was his first conference final he's ever been to.
But it's a big monkey off your back kind of thing. And I stuck around for that Prime Video, whatever the hell I was watching with Steve Nash, Dirk Nowitzki and company. And he went on there. He said all the right things. And I liked the inside access we got from Kenny Atkinson after the game, telling Donovan Mitchell that, hey, man, you were the one we relied on all year. You kept this group together. It's good to see how much of a leader that he was behind the scenes, too. But not to get too into it, as a big Cab fan, my saving grace for this upcoming series with the Knicks is that the Cavs are tested. The Knicks have been the most dominant team in the Eastern Conference. Jalen Brunson, Karl Anthony Towns. I feel like Karl Anthony Towns are the keys that unlocks that car if he gets his 17 and 10. But regardless, they've been dominant. And I think saying they haven't been tested is the wrong word because
they're down 2-1.
They've been that good though. Like, give them credit. They were good enough to sweep. They were good enough to beat Atlanta. So you give them all the credit in the world. But my saving grace is that the Cavs are battle-tested, and they could possibly pull out a close game. But I still lean Knicks, maybe like 6 games now. Not to get too far into the future, Colin, but to answer your original question, was thrilled to bits when I didn't have to sweat out a fourth quarter and my team's advancing to the Eastern Conference Finals for the first time in 8 years in LeBron.
Yeah, so first conference final since post-LeBron for the Cleveland Cavaliers. And on another sense, the Cavaliers have won 2 straight playoff road games. They won Game 5, and they turned around and they won Game 7. So I guess if you're going to ask them to turn around and go to MSG and are somehow able to beat the Knicks coming off of 9 days rest, 9 days off. That game, it was last Sunday that they have played, and their first game is going to be tomorrow night. So it's going to be 9 days off. It's longer than All-Star break. So I guess if there is a saving grace on top of that, maybe the Knicks come out a little flat, and they haven't played basketball at a game pace for a while. So maybe there's a little something there. But I would favor the Knicks in this series. I think the Knicks have just been a lot more consistent ever since that Game 3 against the Atlanta Hawks. They really haven't necessarily bled for that's better part of 2.5 weeks. And then whereas the Cavaliers are America's most inconsistent team, right? Like where some games you have players that are like almost unplayable, and the next game they're one of the best players on the court.
I need Jared Allen to play like Game 7 Jared Allen all the time. If you remember, last night obviously it was tremendous, but even in that first round against Toronto, he is the reason that they were able to really hold down the paint and win that game. So, like you said, the inconsistent Evan Mobley sometimes looks like he's never touched a basketball.
Most inconsistent team.
It looks like It looks like nights Evan Mobley has never touched a basketball. And then he looks like he is the man that's worth a $60 million contract. They are talented. They've drafted well. They've finagled free agency well. How about Sam Merrill? My guy, if Sam Merrill's going to give the Cavs 23 points, the Knicks are in trouble.
Pride of Utah State.
My guy plays hard. And then, you love Strus.
I'm a Strus guy.
I don't get it. All my Miami Heat fans down here, you guys tell me all the time when you see me out and about how much you guys like Strus. So it was a big win, and it was a big game for the Cavs. Big organizational win. Did you see we bust over those fans again? They bust over owner Gilbert. Bust over all those fans again for that Piston game.
You
that
can
was
make an argument that game saved the current core of what the Cavaliers are.
Well, you said it on Theoretically Speaking, and you were totally right. They were playing for the team. They were blowing. I can't remember your exact words, but they were playing to
Pistons
save
were not going to get. Pistons might make changes, but they're not going to blow up.
No.
Cavaliers were in danger of blowing it up.
Yes.
If they were to lose that
and
game.
There was a rumor before the game that the Cavs are already working on a deal for James Harden.
It seems like they like Harden. Like they like him.
And gosh, I love Big Game James, Kyle, but Big Game James in Game 6 and 7, he was nowhere to be found. I give him credit for that Game 5 win, but even Donovan Mitchell said in his post game with the Amazon crew, he said in so many words, it felt like they took the foot off the gas pedal in a Game 6. That can't happen. You can't do that against the Knicks. Udonis Haslem talked about that after Mitchell wrapped up with them. You can't do that against the New York Knicks because they'll win by 50. The Knicks will beat you by 50. They did it. They've done it. They've done it multiple times.
Yeah, they want to pummel teams.
And I think Mike Brown, you give him credit. I couldn't believe the hire at the time, but you give Mike Brown credit because unlike Tibbs, I think he's willing to change the lineups, and I think he's willing to do what it takes to win basketball games, and he's not afraid of taking the foot off the gas pedal.
Yeah, they're going to go back to the conference final for the second time in 2 years, Where last year, if we remember, the Knicks had that 13-point lead with about 5 minutes to go against the Indiana Pacers, up 9 with 2 minutes to go. And they were losing that first game to Tyrese Halliburton heroics. They don't necessarily have that. Doesn't feel like this Cav team is that type of cut from that cloth. And it feels like the Knicks year. It has for a couple weeks now. And obviously things can change if the Cavaliers somehow, some way are able to catapult this 2 straight 7-game series into a competitive road showing in New York. But ultimately, with the amount of rest they have, it seems like they're on a crash course for the winner of Spurs OKC, which we'll get into on the other side. But with the Knicks specifically, if I am Cleveland, I need to see consistency. And they have not been consistent this entire postseason. There have been games on, game off. One game, Mitchell's great. The next game, Harden's great, while Mitchell's terrible. And then all of a sudden, Evan Mobley is great, but Mitchell's okay, but Harden's unplayable. Here and there, the Cavaliers do not get 1 through 4 playing great. Very rare. They've had maybe 1 or 2 games out of 14 where everybody has played pretty well.
Yeah.
Outside of that, it's been relying on him. I don't know if that's a recipe to win against the Knicks, whereas the Knicks have had multiple games where everybody in the lineup has played great, and that would make me a little nervous.
This is they're a tough watch. It's one of the tougher watchers I've had to deal with as a fan. You know, if you're rooting for a bad team, at least you're probably in it for a lottery pick. You're not necessarily with this team. This team is good enough to maybe make the NBA Finals, but some nights they just don't even bother showing up. And it looks like that they don't care. And I'm not saying they don't care, Kyle.
It looked like that in Game 6.
It certainly looked like, and hearing Don saying they took the foot off the gas pedal.
There was no urgency in that game. There was no urgency in that game.
That's not okay. That's not okay on a lot of levels. But let me ask you this before we get to the other side. On the Knicks and the Cavs, we'll start with the Cavs first because it's the most recent stuff. Who's the most important player on the Cavs side in this Knicks series, and who's the most important player on the Knicks side in this Knicks and Cavs series?
So I'll go obvious for the Cavs. I actually think it's Donovan Mitchell. When Mitchell is...
And he's playing at home. He's from New York.
Inefficient. He went to school in Greenwich, Connecticut, too. How about that? But when he plays inefficient and he's 3 of 14 and he's just hurling up threes and he's trying to get something going and it doesn't necessarily work. It was like how he played in Game 5 before overtime. If he has games like that, he doesn't necessarily impact. He impacts the game in scoring and scoring only. That's his thing, right? Like, he could be an impact everywhere else when he scores. When he doesn't score, he's not a great facilitator. He's not a great defender. He's not necessarily going to go in and gut his way to 16 gritty points. He doesn't do that. If he is not hitting his shots and getting to the basket at will and playing well, scoring, he's not much of a factor.
I agree with you. And the perfect way I call Donovan Mitchell's game is he needs to find his spots. He knows where he likes to shoot the ball on the court. I like his how he finesses himself to the rim. But you know early if he's going to have a good game or not. You know very early in the game if this is going to be a game that Donovan Mitchell is going to have his fingerprints all over. You saw it in the Detroit series. You saw it in the Toronto series. So the thing for the Cavaliers, you need Donovan Mitchell and you need the consistency from that Cleveland side because the Knicks, outside of the first 3 games against the Hawks, they've been the definition of consistency for the last 6 games that they've played in the playoffs. So, Colin, for the first time in a long time, I'm not going to be sweating this out as a Cavalier fan.
Because you're an underdog. You're
Exactly. I don't expect to win this series, but I feel a lot better heading into it than I did being down 3-2 having this go to a 7th game, blowing it on the home court. I feel a lot better after that win last night. And how can't you with the Donovan Mitchell performance on the road?
Yeah, Pistons just remarkably unimpressive every other game.
Yeah, and
they talk about consistency issues. The Pistons are another example of that.
You hit the nail on the head with Cunningham. I was thoroughly unimpressed.
He's sloppy. Yeah, if he's not necessarily, like, he has moments where he's 40 points, does everything, but when he runs out of gas, forget it. And he just first quarters turning the ball over left and right, and the Cavs have a turnover problem too. Cunningham specifically on Detroit, turning the ball over left and right, and it wasn't as much prevalent yesterday, but Game 6 you saw it a little bit. Game 5 you definitely saw it. Just bad turnovers. And I know he broke a record for like the most turnovers in like 25 career playoff games or something like that. But ultimately with Cunningham, for me, I understand the big thing of the Pistons offseason was go get him a second star, go get him a second piece to the offense. I would also say the Pistons need to do a better job at understanding the personnel that they have. They didn't realize that they had Dennis Jenkins and Paul Reed off the bench until Game 4. And all of a sudden, even if you didn't think they were going to be great, they just stepped up in a big moment, and they're not consistently like that. The fact that we didn't even know these guys could be as contributing. Dennis Jenkins started the rest of the series, and he was a first-time starter, I believe, in Game 4. Maybe that might have even been Game 5. Paul Reed didn't play. It was only they were just trying to make it work, square peg, round hole with Jalen Duren. And eventually, when they figured out that Paul Reed was actually a contributing piece on center, they didn't necessarily lean into it as much. I know they had injury issues, but Pistons, I have problems with how they coached. I have problems with how Cunningham was. You can make the argument they overachieved this year in terms of the regular season, in terms of where their timeline is. But they definitely need to make a couple personnel changes.
It's a star-driven league, but I'm kind of sick of hearing it over, oh, Cade needs help, Cade needs help. Well, where the hell was Cade at the back end, as I call it in soccer, the dying embers of the game? When the game was on the line and we're running out of time.
And OT on Game 5, a good point.
I just, in big-time players step up in big-time spots. I get that you don't have the manpower that Donovan Mitchell and James Harden have. But if you are a top 5 player, like how some people describe you in this league, you got to be better in the crunch time. And I didn't realize it. You said it in when did the Cavs went on the road? Game 5. You said in Game 5 that Cunningham was gassed. I go, really? I'm like, I don't know. I just think the Cavs played good defense.
When he's gassed,
no,
forget it.
Dude, the next 2 games, even the game that they blew out Cleveland, I started seeing it a bit. And then last night especially, I think there's some growing pains. I think there's some growing to do, right? So, like, last year, they lost to the Knicks. So, hang on. Let me say this. Last year, they lost to the Knicks. Right. This year, they win a series, and they come back. They were dead in the water against Orlando. They win a series, and then they take a Cleveland team who has a ton of experience, 7 games. Next year, the goal should be for that lot conference finals.
Right.
And go reload, retool, as we say on the show. Go retool that roster. Don't bring back Tobias Harris, who's on a contract. Don't
pay anybody yet either.
Don't
pay anybody.
Right, like Oscar Thompson, you got him under contract. Like Cade Cunningham and Thompson, and I know you're down on Duren. He's a young player. I'm going to give him a pass.
But don't pay
Those
him.
are the 3. You build around Cunningham, Thompson, and Duren. Get a little more offense in there. Get a little more offensive there if you're the Pistons. And trust me, you'll be able to beat that Cleveland team next year.
They need to bury Oscar Thompson in a gym with a basketball machine
I'm down
and say,
on him.
make 1,000 threes a day.
I'm down on him.
1,000 corner threes a day all offseason. And if you could come into next season and be a 35% three-point shooter as a spot-up guy, we'll be happy campers.
I'm down on him.
He needs to have a Kawhi Leonard type progression to his game, or else he will be that token defensive player that chokes a team out on offense. Do you want to be Dyson Daniels, or do you want to be Kawhi Leonard? And he's good enough defensively to be compared to Kawhi Leonard on one end. But Kawhi obviously took 3-4 years, but turned into an excellent offensive player. Yeah. Can he do that?
Tom's had a punk move in that game.
When he ran over Merrill too.
He ran over Merrill, and then he throws down Max Strus, literally, which should have been a flagrant run. It's a disgrace that Strus was the one picking up the flagrant because he argued. But regardless, young guy, can't be too hard on him. So.
Yeah, a good player, though. I am a fan.
Defensively, arguably one of the best perimeter defenders in this league already.
At least. And you know what I am also a fan of? It's Anajar and Levine accident attorneys. Because car accidents, truck accidents, slip and fall, Mark Anajar and Glenn Levine at Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys will fight for you. They don't even get paid unless you do. They'll fight for you to get the maximum compensation that you deserve. You got to call Anajar and Levine today for that free consultation. Don't settle for just any attorney around here. Go get the best in South Florida, and that is Anajar and Levine. Go make the difference in your life and go pick up that phone and take back control of your life. Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733. We got a conference final matchup in Cleveland and New York, and on the other side, I think we got one for the ages in San Antonio and OKC. We'll get into that and a lot more on the other side of things. It's Mike Rizzo, Colin Russo. It's Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. This is ESPN 106.3.
In an AI-driven world, power up your future with in-demand trade skills at Palm Beach State College. Attend a free hands-on electrical info session and discover careers in electrical and low-voltage technology. Explore real-world training employers need right now, from installing smart home systems to repairing modern electrical equipment. Be job-ready in a year or less. Financial aid is available for those who qualify. Visit pbsc.edu and search info to learn more.
Business owners, are your employees driving you nuts? Is money tight? Or have you just poured your heart and soul into your business and now it's time to retire and just relax? At Trans World Business Advisors, they have buyers from all over the world ready to buy your business now. Call for a confidential conversation about your business's current value. 561-203-5121. That's 561-203-5121 or visit tworld.com today.
The 4 o'clock hour of Russo and Rizzo is presented by Gießen 0% Wines. It's 4 o'clock somewhere, meaning it's always the perfect time for Gießen wines. Elevate your game night with Gießen's 0% Sauvignon Blanc, Rosé, Pinot Grigio, even Sparkling Brut. 0% alcohol, all the flavor, Gießen wines from New Zealand, making the 4 o'clock hour or any hour the perfect time.
Now, at McDonald's, wake up to a $4 breakfast meal deal. Wake up to a sausage McMuffin or a sausage biscuit, to hash browns, and wake up to a hot coffee. Get your $4 breakfast meal deal.
Limited time only. Prices and participation may vary. Prices may be higher for delivery.
All new drinks are now at McDonald's, with refreshers like the strawberry watermelon refresher and the mango pineapple refresher with popping boba, to crafted sodas like the Sprite Berry Blast with berry flavors and cold foam. Who knew ice cold drinks could be so fire? 6 all-new drinks are here, now at McDonald's.
Refreshers contain caffeine.
Now, at McDonald's, wake up to a $4 breakfast meal deal. Wake up to a sausage McMuffin or a sausage biscuit, to hash browns, and wake up to a hot coffee. Get your $4 breakfast meal deal.
Limited time only. Prices and participation may vary. Prices may be higher for delivery.
You put a lot into your business. Your signage should reflect that. At Signorama West Palm, family owned and operated for over 32 years, we've been helping businesses stand out and stay top of mind. We don't just design signs. We handle the whole process, including professional installation and service. From ADA signs to reception signs and full storefronts, we turn everyday spaces into branding that gets attention. We can handle it all. Call us today at 561-687-7993 or visit signoramawpb.com.
Let's get back to the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. This is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
There's nothing like a celebratory drink to celebrate a Game 7 victory on the road like Cleveland had yesterday. And I'll tell you, if you need one option, Gießen 0% is your option.
Absolutely, Colin. And folks, the 4 p.m. hour is brought to you by Gießen 0%. I saw that game. I told Colin, I said, dude, I'll be able to watch the whole fourth quarter. I'm not going to let anything spoil. I turned on that TV, and I immediately went to the cupboard and poured myself that Gießen 0% red wine because it was already over. It was already over, and I was celebrating with a little nightcap. But, folks, Gießen 0%, obviously no alcohol in it. I'm 5 years sober. This is my way of being a part of the party and not having to drink. For years, I did water, I did club soda, but now I do it with my good friends at Gießen. And something I did Saturday, so, you know, I drink the red wine when I'm sitting on the couch, relaxing. But, dude, those spritzes in a can are something serious. I brought them to the pool, and I gave them to a couple of my friends, and they go, wow. This is amazing. I'm going to look into this when I got the car, and I'm going over to a buddy's house. They're having some people over. I got some things to do. So, folks, even if you are a drinker and you're drinking consistently, if you got the car some nights, pick up the Gießen 0% at Publix because you're not going to want to be driving around buzzed. That's not good for anybody. But that's my journey with Gießen. I'm looking forward to hearing your journey with Gießen 0%. And be on the lookout, too, at Mike Rizzo 22 on X and Instagram. My guy, Kate Chumsland, our social media manager. We're coming up with fun stuff presented by Gießen 0%. I did my 5 sleeper teams in the NFL. Go take a look at it. That's at Mike Rizzo 22 on Instagram and X. Leave a comment if you think those teams are right. But I am changing my game. I'm changing my social life with my good friends. Gießen 0%. Take a look at them. They are at Publix, and they're going off the shelves fast. So take a look at them.
Spurs OKC is the best conference final anticipatory since when?
Oh, boy.
Right? Better than last year.
Oh, boy.
It's better than 2 years ago.
Now, where the Western Conference, Colin, dare I say 2016, Kevin Durant up 3-1 versus the Warriors?
That one comes to mind.
I think that's a solid one. LeBron never really was tested in the Eastern Conference outside of the Celtics. The final year he was with Cleveland. Even with the Heat.
Boston.
Yes.
Both times. Heat and Cavs.
2012, LeBron on his way to it. Yes.
They were down 3-2.
And he had that authentic performance at the Garden. By the way, the best postseason performance I've ever seen in my life, LeBron James 2012 with the Miami Heat. Those come to mind, right? I mean, this is, to that point, that's how serious things are going to get, I think, in this series.
There's that, and remember, those are post games. Anticipatory, that's up there as well, because if they lost that game, the whole Heat thing would have went up into flames, right? So that was probably a game where they played for the structure of that team.
The Big Three. They played for the Big Three.
They played for the structure of that team.
And I think we're going to see how much regular season has to do, right? I mean, the talk is always regular season doesn't matter. The players don't try. Well, I'll tell you who was trying. It's why I love him so much. And the team. I'll tell you who was trying in the regular season. It was the Spurs. And every time they faced off against the Thunder, they couldn't wait to smack them in the mouth. And they did that almost every single time they played them. Oklahoma City
4-1 against them in the season.
As we know, Colin, Oklahoma City is a different beast in the playoffs this year. They were battle-tested last year. And it's funny because there are correlations between last year's Thunder team and this year's Spur team. Remember we were saying about the Thunder last year, not a lot of playoff experience. The coach doesn't have playoff experiences. They won a championship. I think that's the same conversation with the Spurs. And now the Oklahoma City Thunder are the team with the experience that have been there and done that. You're right. I'm looking forward to this one. I compare it to the ones that I mentioned, probably 2016, the Thunder and Steph Curry and that 73-win team, LeBron and the Celtics back in 2012. It's up there with one of the top matchups.
And another thing you got to consider this is an unknown team in terms of the Spurs. We've never seen them in the postseason before. So we've never seen Wembanyama, Castle, Harper, and company really do this before. And in terms of the Thunder, this is year 3 of them really hanging around in the postseason. They had that season where they lost. They 2 years ago when they lost to the Mavericks, and then last year they won the title. Talk about a little bit of an unknown there. And then as for the Cavs and the Knicks on the other side, if you want to compare the two, another two teams that if either of them make the finals, it would be the first finals run in that tenure. And I know the Knicks have sort of been knocking on the door the last couple of years, but you got a lot of unknowns in terms of how many of these teams we have seen in major postseason battles. And with San Antonio specifically, I'm going to root for them. I wasn't rooting for them against the T-Wolves, but I'm going to root for them against the Thunder. It's everybody against the Thunder. I don't know if I put that much stock in the Spurs beating them in the regular season that much, other than the fact that I think it was more important for the Spurs to beat the Thunder in the regular season than it was for the Thunder to beat the Spurs. And I also think that it tells you that at the very least, the Spurs can match up. And they match up. They have a mismatch problem. They got the 3 guards that are all pests, and which are going to give problems to the OKC's best 2 offensive players, which last series was A.J. Mitchell and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. And then you get Wembanyama. 22-year-old, can we rely on him to give us 7 games of performance against an all-time great defensive team like OKC? I'm not so sure. But the thing about the Spurs is they are fearless, and they are playing above the experience that they have actually in the postseason.
And I think Wembanyama, keep your head, young man. You know, Chet Holmgren and Hartenstein.
They're going to try to bother you.
They're going to try to, get up to their dirty tricks, I think similar to what Minnesota did. But it just seems like Wembanyama, and listen, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to tell you, he's the next guy up in this league. And I think this is going to be the ultimate test. This is the champion. This is the by the way, the champion that has the back-to-back MVP. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander trying to become the first player since LeBron James to win back-to-back MVPs and back-to-back finals MVPs. So we'll have to take a look at that if that is able to come to fruition. But regardless, Wembanyama's the next man up. And right now, the man who is up and who is arguably the best player in the NBA is Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. I don't know how you can't get into it. I think for all season long, I still stand by it. I thought the NBA had a tough year. But if this series turns into something great, I'm able to look past all the riffraff. I think Adam Silver needs to get into the lab and fix a lot of things within the league. But the saving grace we have every single year is the NBA playoffs. And not only even on the Western Conference side, I think the Eastern Conference side is going to have a good series too. It might be the Clevelander in me, but I always thought I was doomsdaying a little bit. No matter who comes out of that Piston-Cavs matchup, it's 5. I think the Cavs could possibly push it to 6 and maybe even push it to 7. But sticking with the Western Conference side, it's hard not to cheer from Wembanyama. If you're not an Oklahoma City fan, and unless you're a rival of the Spurs, maybe like the Lakers and company, I even think the Lakers, after their problems, Laker fans with the problems with the officiating they had, they would even be rooting for San Antonio. But, yeah, sign me up for Wemby.
Is the Western Conference Finals the pseudo-NBA final?
No.
I agree with you.
No.
I agree with you.
No.
I agree with you. I don't think
No.
that I don't think this is a placeholder.
This isn't a formality.
For the Larry, I agree. I don't think this is a placeholder for the Larry O'Brien. I don't. I actually think the Knicks can compete with one or both of these teams.
I think if Oklahoma City comes out, it's going to be tough for an Eastern Conference team. If the Spurs come out, I think comparatively the Cavs and the Knicks can both compete with them. But Oklahoma City, the saving grace we have is that this Spurs team, and the reason I'm saying this,
it's sort of their kryptonite.
Exactly. So, that's why I don't think it's a formality, because I'm not, I was a couple of weeks back when the playoffs first started, specifically in that first round. But now watching Wembanyama, the way the Spurs have maneuvered in the playoffs, the way that they've shown us that their inexperience and immaturity in the playoffs hasn't gotten in the way, except for Wembanyama getting thrown out for one game, and he had a great response. But since all of these things have happened, everything has changed. If San Antonio comes out, I think the Eastern Conference teams have a chance. If Oklahoma City comes out, man, I don't think the Knicks match up well against OKC. I think the Cavs actually match up a little better against OKC. But that's neither here nor there.
I don't think the Cavs are going to get out past the Knicks. I understand you could think that as a Cleveland
fan. It's
fan.
hope, right? And they're one of the two teams.
Are they going to have 3 straight 7-game series on their way to a final? We'd have to,
I'd
have to go through the numbers and see how many teams have ever done that.
They're young enough to do it. I'll tell you that. It's not like they're riding old players. You know?
Wait, Harden's not young.
But at the same time, Mitchell's in his prime. Mobley is almost ascending into his prime. Jared Allen's a young player. Right. They're role players. Dennis Schroeder is I don't listen to me talking myself into it. But the only reason I brought that up is because they're one of the final 2 teams in the Eastern Conference, and they technically do have a chance to get to the final.
I'd be curious to see how many Game 7s the most that have been played and won in one NBA postseason by a team. Maybe I'll try to dig in on that and see which teams have been able to accomplish that. We'll take a timeout here on the other side of things, get into some more NBA postseason action tonight. You also have the Sabres and the Canadians in Game 7, 7:30.
You watching?
I'll have an eye on it. That I can promise you, as we are here at FAU and at FAU for the inaugural Lou Groza Flag Football Awards, which is going to be tonight at 6:30. Mike Rizzo, Colin Russo. It's Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. This is ESPN 106.3.
I'm Ellie Anajar of Anajar & Levine. Injured in a car crash? Never rush to settle with insurance companies, and never settle for just any attorney. Demand Anajar & Levine. Our experienced legal team will fight to win you the maximum compensation you deserve. Call me, Ellie Anajar, for a free consultation and take back control of your life. Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733.
In office, West Palm Beach.
Burger Mania is on at Duffy Sports Grill, and these are not your average burgers. Try the Bacon Mac and Cheese Burger, a half-pound Angus patty stacked with creamy mac and cheese, applewood smoked bacon, and crispy onion strings. Or go bold with the Frito Pie Burger, loaded with chili, cheddar, crunchy Fritos, and fresh jalapenos. And for the purists, the Double Smash Burger. The Burger Mania menu, now through May 31st at Duffy Sports Grill. Duffy's, our game is always on.
Ready to take on any terrain? The all-new 2026 Defender 110 P300S is here. Built for those who crave adventure without compromising on luxury. Lease the powerful 2026 Defender 110 P300S for just $879 per month for 36 months. Whether you're tackling the toughest roads or cruising the city, the Defender is ready for it all. Don't wait. Visit Land Rover Palm Beach today and experience the Defender like never before. Terms and conditions apply. See dealer for details.
The Palm Beach Health Network Physician Group, an affiliate of the Palm Beach Health Network, is committed to delivering high-quality care to the communities they serve. Their award-winning physicians and specialists provide a level of expertise that has resulted in regional firsts and outstanding patient outcomes. For a physician referral, call 866-654-2362. To learn more about the Palm Beach Health Network Physician Group, visit pbhnphysiciangroup.com. pbhnphysiciangroup.com to get in touch with the Palm Beach Health Network Physician Group.
The NFL schedule dropped, and it's time to settle up. There's road trips to plan, hotels to book, tickets to split, tailgates to cover, scores to settle, all the things for the season. But now, when you send $10 or more to a friend with PayPal by May 28th, you could win 2 tickets to every home game of your favorite team. Yep, the whole season. Visit paypal.com/P2P sweeps. No purchase necessary. See website for details, including how to enter by mail. Brought to you by PayPal, official peer-to-peer payment sponsor of the NFL.
Okay, class, let's begin.
Psst, love your boots. I just sold a pair like that on eBay.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it took like 2 seconds to list, and they sold almost immediately. I've been selling everything lately. Some chunky boots, a faux fur coat I never wore, and a vintage chair that was more of an expensive clothing rack.
You know, I actually bought these on eBay. Wait, are you Kitty Sell Stuff from Brooklyn?
Okay, quiet, please.
Find what you love, sell what you don't. eBay. Things people love.
Let's get back to the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. This is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
It is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3. We got Colin Russo, we got Mike Rizzo, we got Elias Bustamante. We are at FAU in the athletic complex where we got the inaugural Lou Groza Awards for flag football, which are going to be taking part tonight. So stay tuned for some of the big award winners in the area of Palm Beach County after such a good year of flag football. Congratulations to Seminole Ridge Flag Football, who won their second straight state championship over the weekend in Tampa. Listen, if you're somebody who's a sports fan, likes to watch on TV, if you have Xfinity, you already enjoy ESPN as part of your daily TV lineup with live games, daily sports coverage, and expert analysis. But now the ESPN Unlimited plan is available at no additional cost, giving you access to additional ESPN content that's in the ESPN app, that's on-demand programming and originals to explore. Visit Xfinity.com/your subscriptions to activate ESPN Unlimited access, then start watching in the ESPN app. More from ESPN, all in one place. PGA Championship over the weekend up in Philadelphia, outside of Philadelphia, Newtown Square, Pennsylvania, where Aaron Rai, sort of a quiet fixture in the golf community, the Englishman was able to pull away in the last 6-7 holes of the fourth round, and stayed steady when everybody else was sort of falling apart and melting away. Aaron Rai was the one who hit a 60-foot putt on 16 to give himself 9 under. It was pretty much all but a formality in the last 2-3 holes of the actual tournament. And a guy who finished 5th in Myrtle Beach, but outside of that, of his last 7 starts, he missed a cut in four tournaments. Finished in the Masters, 48th. But somebody that is essentially, quote, a no-name.
Yep.
Is now all of a sudden winner of the PGA Championship. He's got a good story attached to him. He doesn't come from a wealthy background, doesn't necessarily have golf in his blood, but he wears 2 gloves. He wears covers on the irons, which is peculiar because he wants to preserve the clubs, and then 2 gloves all the time when he hits because that's what he's comfortable with, and somebody who is rock solid and steady. But to me, this felt like a J.J. Spawn last year U.S. Open. It seems like this is going to be a guy who kind of comes in like lightning and then disappears a little bit like smoke.
My buddies were complaining that Shuffler bottled.
Scheffler was not really much of a factor the last 2 rounds. McIlroy could never take the next step. Justin Rose was 2 under going into the last day. He did nothing. Chris Gotterup did nothing. Justin Thomas had a great round, but he teed off at 11 a.m. and he was done 2 hours before everybody else is done. So it was not a lot of drama.
And they
not
hated,
a lot of drama
all week. The boys said they hated the leaderboard, and a no-name won. Very, listen, the Uber golf fan loved it.
Oh, it was good.
The Uber golf fan.
The last 5-6 holes of the PGA Championship final round was not great because that's when Rye pulled ahead and everybody else sort of fell apart. But when everybody was on 12, 13, 11, and everybody was -5, -6, -4, that's when it was really interesting.
You want a leaderboard for an event like that, and sadly, Scotty, to your credit, on that Saturday, I was watching him, bogey and miss putts. That's him though, man. Scotty's great, not a great putter. Not a great putter.
This course specifically, the putting killed everybody. So, and the one thing that I wanted to bring up with you, that the golfers were complaining about all weekend, Scotty Scheffler especially, alongside a number of other golfers.
Oh, Scheffler
after
complaining?
Friday, well, hold on. Rory's not innocent
But
either.
still, Scheffler's going to,
Talked about, it wasn't necessarily complaining, but he was more talking about, like, this is the hardest, first of all, cup placements, greens, that I have ever seen on tour. And a lot of the golfers who had bad rounds, most guys were 2-3 over after that second round on Friday for a mixture of reasons. It's weather and greens. I actually think that's the best part, is when these guys, and Shane Lowry said that, when these guys are actually challenged and they're a little bit more humanized, they're missing left
they're
and
not
right.
20 over.
They got bad misses. They're hitting bunkers left and right. They can't stay on the greens. I actually think when it's like that, and a couple guys are 3, 4, 5 under, and everybody else is sort of flirting with finishing 2 over on the day or 1 over on the day, and the leaderboard isn't necessarily one that is everybody's 15 under.
Yep.
I think it's so much better when it humanizes the golfer a little bit.
I agree. And if they're mad, I think you're doing something right.
I think there's no better testament to a good course and good strategizing in terms of how to set it up than all the guys complaining.
If they're mad, you did it right. No one wants to see 30 over, bro. No, obviously I'm trolling, but no one wants to see 15, 20 over in a competition like that. And that's why you give the no-name, Mr. Rye, the Englishman, some credit. He was able to outlast all those big-time stars and all those big-time guys that were competing in that tournament. So Cade Chumson, our social media manager, he produces my Inter Miami games, and he was telling me how much he was loving it. And Cade is a huge golfer, so I feel like
Cade called Aaron Rye to win it yesterday. He was tied for second at 4 under.
I give him credit for that.
And he called Aaron Rye to finish it off.
And I feel like I said, the Uber golf fan probably loved that. The average, someone probably like me who tunes in for the major, I want to see the Rorys, the Rahms. Now I saw Rahm.
Well, Rahm was finished tied for second.
I saw
Rahm
up there.
Rahm had a bad couple misses in his last 3-4 holes. But Rahm was somebody that was in the mix. He was at 4 under, I believe, entering into the final round as well. I thought it was going to be his time to really break through as somebody you don't see consistently on tour because he's on live. But it was another situation where, akin to what the Masters final round looked like, it's everybody else sort of falling apart in their own way, and then one guy who was just calm, cool, and collected.
Yes, sir.
Like Rory was in that final round. That was Aaron Rye. So it was good to see that. It's a good story. And I like the fact that we don't have any Scheffler and McIlroy. And then all of a sudden, you turn around and all these guys are complaining about the course. Great. If I'm a course director, if I'm somebody that organizes, if I'm a tournament director on figuring out where to put the cup placements and how to cut the roughs and everything like that, making it consequential for these guys to have bad shots, that makes it a good golf tournament.
Like, if you see the pros struggling, it's relatable.
It is relatable.
It's relatable.
It humanizes them a little bit.
I listen, if I'm consistently playing, I'm a good golfer. But, folks, I'm not. I'd go out there and hack up a storm right now. So seeing these guys struggling.
Can't get out of the rough.
Yeah, my God, it humanizes them a bit because they do seem immortal when you put yourself up against a true golfer like that. So I like it. Once again, the leaderboard stunk. I told you that on Thursday. I looked at you on Thursday and I said we were going to have a leaderboard problem.
Hold on. Going into the final day, the leaderboard looked good. It looked very good.
Rahm, Scheffler.
Well, you had guys that were in the mix. McIlroy was 3 under. You had Cam Smith had a great final round. You had guys that were dancing around. It's just the last 4 or 5 holes is when everything started to implode a little bit, and that's when Aaron Rai really ran away. And he won that tournament with one putt that he had on 16 on a par 3. He was basically 60 feet away from the cup, knocks it in, and doesn't even have much of a reaction. That won him the tournament, and then after that, you don't even necessarily need to tune in for the final couple holes because nobody else was necessarily knocking on the door. And but outside of that, cool story, and a guy who definitely the players respect, and it's sort of unorthodox on his rise to being great on that level of golf.
Yeah, and what was it, like a $3 million purse, man? Like
absolutely.
That guy, he won the right tournament. Let's just put it that way.
And to talk about McIlroy really quick, they interviewed him at the end. He's like, Roy, like talking about good round, bad round, this, that, and the other. And then he goes, hey, listen, I'm going to take a couple weeks off. I'm like, Rory shows up for the big tournament every couple of weeks, which is why.
Good. I do too. As a fan, I do too.
I see that. And
Colin
is
guess what? As a fan, I do too.
And for Rory to add to this, he shot a 74 in the first round, which is a 4 over.
It was shocking.
And he was terrible. And then he responded. He was excellent. He shot 2 under, 3 under, then 4 under in their respective days, and entered into the final round in a good spot. And then really, he got annoyed at a couple fans. Just wasn't necessarily handling himself properly in the back nine, and that's why he wasn't able to kind of close it. And
you can't stand Rory.
I just think it's funny because all of a sudden Rory's Mr. Let's talk to the media when he has a great round, and when he doesn't have a good round, you can't find him. Can't find him. Oh, he's got a lot to say now. And listen, I think a lot of these golfers
turning into that.
Hey, Scheffler's not great.
He's
either.
Turning into it now.
I like Scotty. He seems likable. If I'm sure if he was here with us, he'd be great. But he does have moments with the media where he's a little short-tempered.
He'd get mad at you if you asked him about the birdies that he left on, the front nine.
Yeah, right.
That was a rough look. That was a rough look.
And no doubt. And he doesn't necessarily handle himself properly with the media in that regard. But those are the two biggest golfers in the world at the moment. But I'm glad to see somebody else sort of knock on the door on a major.
Now, I told you this weekend that I'm going on a trip to L.A. You're my travel agent. You found me a couple of flights. I think I booked the right flight. It's the nonstop.
You did.
From Lauderdale to L.A.
Yep.
But you yourself, you're going on vacation this weekend.
Okay, vacation is certainly a word, but
you're going on a booze trip with the boys.
So
with a bunch of booze hounds.
Certainly a word.
What?
There's Austin, Texas this weekend.
It's about 20 of the fraternity boys, 20 of the Pike boys
21 guys I went to college with.
Colin was the president, so he's running the whole thing.
I was not. And
treasurer.
22, nope. 22 guys that we're meeting up with out in Austin, Texas, Friday through Monday.
Okay.
So,
well, what was your official title again?
I didn't have a title.
You were the treasurer. You handled the money.
I did not do that. I did not.
Dude, you went on a trip to Vegas that you never went on.
Well,
the boys went on a trip to Vegas that you never went on.
Yeah.
You handled the money.
Wisconsin was playing Iowa. They lost that game like 12-6.
And anyway, so you're going on a booze cruise
Austin,
with the
Texas,
boys.
First time you ever been?
Never been to Austin. I've been to Dallas, obviously, with my sister.
The weather's not supposed to be great, but apparently it's going to be a great time.
Now, that is Bachelorette Fest area, right?
I think so.
So there's 20 dudes?
Yes.
Well, let's hope you guys run into one of those Bachelorette parties. Now, you got an Airbnb?
All right. Yeah, we got an Airbnb.
Okay. All right.
It's going to be 86, and it says storms in and out. So
now, schedule
it's
guy,
been changing all day.
What game are you going to be watching all boozed up?
Well, it's good because you have a couple things. First of all, you have Spurs Thunder Game 3, which is going to be Friday night.
Okay.
And then there's a ton of Knicks fans in that lot who are going to be on top of Knicks Cavs on Saturday night. It's going to be 8 o'clock. So I'll be on top of both the games. And the best part is that Spurs series, Game 4 is on Sunday night, which is probably when you're not going to be out and about as much. You'll be sort of when you're taking it easy. So I'm actually looking forward to watching Game 4 specifically on that Sunday night. So we're going to – there's a famous comedy club there that Joe Rogan owns, and it's one of the top comedy clubs in the world.
Who's one of the comedians that you're
We're doing an open mic one.
Oh, nice.
So people hop
Are you
in
getting on the mic?
I don't think it works like that.
Oh, okay.
I think it's actually prestigious. Okay. They don't just leave the mic up and people walk off stage. I don't think they have walk-ins.
I didn't know if you were in the Pike Boys who were going to get up there and
I don't think it works like that.
And do your shtick.
Yeah, I don't think it works like that.
Okay,
it's actually prestigious, trying to work their way up, comedians.
Oh, I see. Okay.
And it's Memorial Day weekend, so you got to imagine that they'll get some funny people in there. We're going to get heckled. I'll tell you that.
Yeah,
21 guys, we're going to be heckled.
Yeah. Now, you did find a bottomless spot to go to.
So to bottomless, which is huge in Florida. You can't go 5 seconds without finding a
Correct.
bottomless drinking spot.
Explain what it is.
And what bottomless drinking, like you had all you can drink mimosas or something like that.
There
which
you
is
go.
a good bang for your buck.
There you
South Florida, it's like the thing in South Florida. It's outlawed in Texas.
May I ask why?
Starting June 1st.
What, were too many people getting
I
hammered?
don't know. There was a law that was passed in April, and it was going into effect June 1st, that it was banned. And I found one place in Austin.
Oh, my gosh.
Wow.
Knowing you, I thought you'd find the dollar mixed drink place.
Well, I did. This is what it is. It's $25 all you can drink.
Okay. Never mind.
So you get your bang for your buck.
Yep. And you are –
$25?
What's your limit on spending on a drink? $7?
Yeah, I'll never go double digits.
$7? You'll never go on a drink? You'll never go double digits?
Never go double digits.
That's hysterical.
If it's double digits,
Dude.
forget it. I'll go home.
So, and also, folks, I said to start this off, I'm going to L.A., visiting my godfather, Uncle Johnny, Uncle Jamie. They're out there. Dude, when we used to visit them when I was on the rye, it'd be like, Colin, it'd be like $18 mixed drinks. And I'd be sitting at the rooftop of EPLP just watching my bank account. You know, I'm a young man at this point. I'm 23 years old. Just watching my bank account as I'm just funneling funds in the
I won't do it. I won't do it.
But folks, to put things in perspective,
I'm cheap.
I feel
as cheap as they come.
Colin, you know, me back in the day, what is it? Whatever. You know,
I'm as cheap as
who
they
wants
come.
a shot?
I'm
you know,
as
who
cheap
wants
as
a
they
shot? That was me. Who wants a shot?
I'm
you know?
as cheap as they come.
I was Mr. Buy the Rounds, and I was that guy.
Well,
I don't miss
you know
that,
what?
honestly.
You know what? Everybody shut down too. Last thing about Austin, really quick, is I wanted to do a boat and get a boat one day, right? And go out on. They got like a lake there, like Lake Austin, and it's like a big thing. Like you get a boat, you rent it out, you have a captain, nothing. You
I've
have to
seen
worry
it.
about
My
anything.
friends, multiple of them
And
done it.
It seems like a great time. So I wanted to do that.
How much?
And it would have been like $30 a person.
Not bad.
So here's what I did.
So
See,
what
I'm
happened?
savvy. So here's what I did. We got a house, right? I fronted the bill. And 22 guys, I covered the house with $20 with 20 people's worth. Not only to give me a margin for error just in case somebody bails, but so I don't have to change the price. Let's say if I charge 22 people, somebody bails, then I got to charge everybody else more. So I did 20 people. Does that make sense?
Yep.
To cover the house. And even if everybody went, it was like $250 a person. I would have that $500 that you could subsidize whatever we need to subsidize. Food, right? We have a grill there. So, drinks, whatever it might, a boat. So I was going to subsidize the boat, and then it would be like $15 a person to do like a boat for 3.5 hours on Lake Austin.
Because you had the extra cash. Because
you had the extra cash. Because I savvy. I was thinking with my noodle. And everybody shut it down.
You were the treasurer of the fraternity.
I was not. I'm good with
you
money.
You had a title,
no,
bro.
I did not. I was savvy with money.
You handled the fraternity's money. That is the treasurer.
I did not do that.
You handled trips and events and socials.
I did not do that.
Stop it. Anyway.
Point is, they all shut it down because they're all very cheap as well. And they're like, we won't be into it. We won't be. I'm like, guys, it's a boat.
Yeah.
$15, $20 for a boat?
Yeah.
Am I serious?
That could 20 dudes. You guys could use some boat. All right. Too many guys, bro. I mean, jeez, oh man. 20 dudes. Tell me you're in a fraternity without telling me you're in a fraternity. 20 dudes invading. 20 dudes invading Austin, Texas with no girls. Fair play, man. Fair play, dude.
We'll take a time out here. We will do a little 5 at 5 on the other side of things.
Miserable.
Colin Russo, Mike Rizzo. We are at FAU for the Lou Groza Flag Football Awards, which are going to be tonight, and it's the first one ever at FAU tonight. Some of the top teams, players, and athletes in Palm Beach County will be here and present tonight as we hand out a couple of awards. We hear from a couple keynote speakers. Theo Dorsey tries his best to get everybody laughing before we get started and wastes everybody's time.
Speed it up.
Do that. We're going to be doing that and a lot more. We're streaming live on YouTube at ESPN West Palm, ESPN South Florida. Go download the Hard Rock Bet app today because you got the conference finals starting up here tonight with Game 1 of Spurs Thunder. You have Sabres versus the Canadiens Game 7 tonight as well. And then all of a sudden we're going to have the conference finals. That's one day on, one day off. So you're going to have game after game after game. You're going to have something every single night for about the next week and a half, 2 weeks. And because of that, if you don't have a dog in the fight, go bet on the app. If you're a new bettor, your first 10 bets, if you win any of those first 10 bets with a maximum of a $50 bet, you win any of those first 10 bets as a new player, you get to double your winnings on the app. You could refer a friend, get $50 additionally in bonus bets added to your account. It is all of this, any league, any player, any time. Increase your odds with a parlay. Put as little as $1, put 3-4 legs together, and all of a sudden that $1 can turn it into 25 pretty quickly. Go do it all on the app. Go check it out today. It is offered by the Seminole Tribe of Florida. Must be 21 plus, physically present in Florida. The wager terms and conditions do apply. If you're somebody who knows a gambling problem, please call 1-833-PLAY-WISE. We'll do a little 5 at 5 on the other side of things. It's Mike Rizzo, Colin Russo, Russo and Rizzo, ESPN 106.3.
The 4 o'clock hour of Russo and Rizzo is presented by Gießen 0% Wines. It's 4 o'clock somewhere, meaning it's always the perfect time for Gießen wines. Elevate your game night with Gießen's 0% Sauvignon Blanc, Rosé, Pinot Grigio, even Sparkling Brut. 0% alcohol, all the flavor, Gießen wines from New Zealand, making the 4 o'clock hour or any hour the perfect time.
Get this. Joey and me were supposed to go to this concert next week, right? But then something terrible happened. Joey was driving without a seatbelt. But he didn't wreck. No, he got pulled over. Now Joey has to pay for a seatbelt ticket instead of a concert ticket, and I have to go by myself. How lame is that? So Joey, if you're out there, you're an idiot. Wear your seatbelt or you'll get a ticket.
All across the country, cops are cracking down. Click it or ticket, day and night.
Funded by the Florida Department of Transportation.
Anajar and Levine.
Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733.
ESPN 106.3.
WESP Jupiter, a Good Karma Brands radio station.
A resort destination beyond compare, yet conveniently close to home. The Breakers Palm Beach offers everything you desire with the service you deserve in a breathtaking oceanfront setting. Immerse yourself in unparalleled seaside glamour and enjoy all the Breakers has to offer as you create lasting memories with those who matter most. The best part, you don't have to travel far to feel worlds away. Visit thebreakers.com or call 1-800-BREAKERS today.
Whether it's a clutch touchdown pass, a game-winning dunk, or an impressive dash to the finish, we want to highlight the best performance of the week. The winning performance will receive $500 courtesy of Baptist Health Orthopedic Care. Catch the biggest moments and winners all season long on ESPN 106.3 and ESPN West Palm Play. Nominate them today by emailing highschool@espnwestpalm.com. Baptist Health Orthopedic Care. Welcome to being treated like a pro.
My dad passed away unexpectedly. Of course, it was awful in every way, but we are very grateful that he had life insurance. So even after he was gone, he was still able to provide for us. And that's why I have life insurance for my family. Ethos.com. They make it fast and easy to get covered. It's 100% online. You get a quote in seconds. And you can apply in minutes and get covered the same day.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/game. That's ethos.com/game. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required. Rates may vary.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance tech at a university, he knows ordering from multiple suppliers takes time away from keeping their arena up and running. That's why he counts on Grainger to get everything he needs, from lighting and HVAC parts to plumbing supplies, all in one place. And with fast, dependable delivery, he's stocked and ready for the next tip-off. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
ESPN 106.3 is your home for live sports, presented by Hard Rock Bet. Listen live for all of your Inter Miami coverage, including play-by-play, weekly shows, and all the latest on the Herons. If it's Inter Miami, it's on ESPN 106.3. Listen on the ESPN South Florida app or stream it on YouTube, Spotify, and wherever you get your podcast. Stay connected with Inter Miami anytime, anywhere. Presented by Hard Rock Bet, Florida's only legal sportsbook. Concerned about your gambling? Call or text 1-833-PLAY-WISE today.
Ugh. Water spots on the shower door again.
He sprayed, he scrubbed, he squeegeed.
What? Is that a word?
He's tried pretending not to see it.
Didn't work.
Now he wants answers.
I'm calling Culligan. They'll test my water for free and recommend a solution to fix hard water throughout the whole house.
Because some battles shouldn't be fought alone.
Schedule your free water test today at Culligan.com, serving all of South Florida.
Hey, Culligan man! Hey,
Hey, Steph Prince here, General Manager of ESPN West Palm, to tell you about a team that has meant a lot to me and this community for a long time. Bob and the team at Bradley Heating and Air Conditioning have been helping me stay cool for years, whether at home or in the office. And living in South Florida with 3 kids, I don't know what I'd do without them. Family owned and operated, serving Royal Palm Beach and beyond since 1980. Let the knowledgeable and trained team at Bradley help you with your residential and commercial needs, installation, repair, seasonal maintenance, upgrades of all makes and styles and models of HVAC equipment, and so much more. Bradley Heating and Air Conditioning does things right the first time and makes the process smooth, stress-free, and most importantly, keeps you cool. Give them a call at 561-793-7497. That's 561-793-7497 or bradleyair.com. Any need, big or small, trust the amazing team at Bradley Heating and Air Conditioning.
Now, it's time for a little R&R.
Colin to the bucket, lays it up and in.
Ball game, Rizzo.
Live in the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios, this is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
This team is going to be tough when they finally get it together.
Sit back and relax. Let Russo and Rizzo take you home.
Oh, mercy! Light him up, Colin!
It is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3. You got Colin Russo, you got Mike Rizzo. We are streaming live on YouTube at ESPN South Florida, ESPN West Palm. We're in the athletic complex at Florida Atlantic University, where Coach Zach Kitley of the football team is right down the hall. And we have an extra mic, Coach Kitley, and more than welcome to jump on here. We got Mike Rizzo. How are you today?
I'm great. I want to hear about the new recruits. I want to hear about the portal. I want to hear what we're going to see
by Coach Kitley.
on the field.
Coach Kitley.
The youngest coach. How old? How old is that kid?
I want to say 36.
Okay, so, we might have been in high school at the same time. We're similar in age. So I want to see what the Owls are going to be looking like this year coming up.
We're live here at the Lou Groza Flag Football Awards, the inaugural Lou Groza Flag Football Awards, which is going to be tonight, 6:30. You got a Game 7 night in the Sabres and the Canadiens, 7:30. And then you also have Spurs and Thunder, Game 1, 8:30 tonight. So I'll probably start around 8:40, 8:45. That's on NBC and Peacock, so looking forward to that. We got Elias Bustamante helping us out over the airwaves on the other side of the glass. If you missed any of the program, go listen back on Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts, all those great places. Just go to Russo and Rizzo. Let's bounce around. Let's have a little fun. Let's do a little 5 at 5, presented by Flagler Credit Union.
5 topics.
High five.
5 o'clock.
It's 5 o'clock somewhere. Let's get out of here.
Endless takes.
You can't handle the truth.
All gas, no brakes.
And it's shaking big time.
It's time for the 5 at 5.
Hold on to your butts.
Presented by Flagler Credit Union, proud supporter of FAU athletics. Number 1.
Well, the second major of the year wrapped up yesterday with Aaron Rye picking up his first ever major win. Colin, how does a new name winning impact your interest in a major?
Well, good for him. He's a great story, and he earned that. I tell you that. He was the one who definitely earned that win. He was great in the back nine. He was great in the final round. He was rock solid when everybody else sort of fell apart. That Schmidt, that Smalley, all those guys didn't necessarily do what they were supposed to do. And then you had Aaron Rye, who was able to, against all odds on a tough course, was able to hit huge putts and was able to kind of close things out. So I like it. Do I anticipate this to be a kind of one-off? I do. I do think that this is somebody that J.J. Spawn, a la U.S. Open, comes out, makes a big splash. He doesn't necessarily consistently enter into the fold of the final 10, final 5 each and every subsequent tournament. But I was pleased to see that throughout this PGA Championship over the weekend.
What a big-time leaderboard. Scheffler pooped it on Saturday. Ron was flirting a little bit, but Kyle, ultimately for me, and listen, I like the story. Don't get me wrong. I like the story, and I know you like to say, oh, Riz, you hate the underdog. That's not true. But let's move on to number 2, Elias.
Number 2.
The Pittsburgh Steelers and Aaron Rodgers are running it back, with Aaron Rodgers agreeing to a 1-year deal with the team. How do you justify the Aaron Rodgers experience being worth it for the Steelers,
I mean,
Colin?
at least he didn't wait till like July 4th than what he did last year to announce his signing to the Pittsburgh Steelers. This was the only move that could have happened. I'm not surprised by this in the slightest. I think this was pretty much the big open secret amongst NFL circles. Him coming back to the Steelers he was not going to retire. He is going to give it one more go. I'd be shocked if he plays another year after this year. One more year of McCarthy, and this gives McCarthy a couple options. McCarthy gets to rely on Rodgers to win them a couple games. They may be competitive. And McCarthy gets some opportunity to at least get his hands on Will Howard and Drew Aller. And then at the end of the year, he'll have a sense of if any of these guys are pro-level quarterbacks, if they could take the team past the sort of short tenure of Rodgers, or if they're going to need to enter the draft next year with 7, 8, 10 guys that can be good quarterbacks to enter into that fold. So I think this Steelers season is a little bit of an in-betweener, and because of that, I don't know why we're seeing them on primetime 600 times, but I do think that Aaron Rodgers coming back was the biggest open secret in the NFL since last year when Aaron Rodgers signed with the Steelers.
I think it's more likely the Steelers are last in the division than make the playoffs. I'm down on them. I thought they had a tough draft. I know you like Mike McCarthy more than I do, but I wasn't a fan of Mike McCarthy at all. I think that's an organization that is on the down. You had Mike Tomlin there who consistently was pulling out results in games they had no business winning. I think the only reason that they were able to be over 500 was because of his influence over the players and over the locker room. For years, I had to listen to Steeler fan, mediocre Mike, Tomlin's awful. Well, guess what? Now you're going to have Mike McCarthy football. They're going to finish last in that division. And I have the Browns winning 5 games. Keep that in mind, and I'm still saying that. I think it's going to be a big step back for Pittsburgh this year. I think bringing back Aaron.
Under 5 wins?
I think
under 5 wins?
I think 5 or under for the Steelers next year. I would hammer that Pittsburgh Steeler under.
I would not take them for the postseason, though. I agree with that.
And I think bringing Aaron Rodgers back is malpractice for Pittsburgh fans. I've come around, with Pittsburgh fans are great. Let's put it in perspective. I actually do feel bad for the Pittsburgh fan I understand why they wanted to move on from Mike Tomlin, but you bring in Mike McCarthy, you draft Drew Aller, and you bring back Aaron Rodgers. They might be the most unsexiest situation in the NFL. Let's move on to number 3.
Number 3.
All right, Kyle, you're into this, and I've been into it too. But on the ice, there is a Game 7 taking place tonight between the Sabres and the Canadiens. This series had just a single 1-goal game. Would you consider this game, or rather, Colin, would you consider this a great series?
Yeah, it was a great series.
Now, it's weird. The results that have been happening, you still would consider it a good series. Thank you. You still would consider it a good series.
Game 5 was heavily in favor of Montreal after Buffalo fell apart. They were up 3-2 at the end of the first period. And it was the same way. It was the same thing, but the other way around in Game 6. Montreal went up by as much as 3-1 in the early part, and then Buffalo scores about 7 straight goals. So it's been a series that has been not devoid of offense at all. And the one thing I would say is a couple interesting things. Number one, Buffalo, the Sabres, even though they're sort of they got a little America's team to them, they're 2-4. They're 2-4 in their building this postseason.
Wow.
And they're 5-1 on the road. So what are they doing? They're staying in a hotel in Buffalo to simulate that road game environment of showing up to the arena and not necessarily coming from home. And I like that because the Lightning used to do that as well. It's the biggest game that Buffalo's had in sports that is not the Buffalo Bills in maybe ever. So
they like that team. They like that team.
And they've never won a Stanley Cup. So it's a huge game for them. I like Montreal in this spot. I think Montreal gives them a little bit more power and juice and fearlessness offensively that would go against Carolina. But a couple of things, too, is Montreal, I haven't even checked the lineups, but I imagine the backup, Golkin, or the backup who took over for Alex Lyon for Buffalo, is starting again because they pulled him after letting up 3 goals 5 minutes, and then all of a sudden they were able to lock things down. I imagine he's going to be the one starting in goal today, and I do think this is going to be a high-scoring classic.
You're watching, right? Let's do number 4.
I'll have an eye on it.
Let's do number 4, Elias.
Number 4.
Colin, Game 1 of the Western Conference Finals is also tonight between the Spurs and the Thunder. If you had to pick one, which is more likely? Thunder complete the perfect postseason, or Thunder do not win a title? So you're banking on the Thunder not losing a game, or Thunder winning a title or not winning a title? What's more likely, them going undefeated or not winning a title?
The more likely is them not winning a title.
I would
because
agree.
Because them going perfect is not going to happen.
They're
absolutely going to lose a game at some point.
I think
they might lose tonight. They might lose tonight.
You always say a series doesn't start until it gets to the home court. I would like to think that the Spurs would be able to at least win one game at home. We talked a lot about that matchup. You and I really like the chances for the Spurs. We think that this could be a 7-game series. I would definitely go with them not winning a title. Dude, it's so. Colin, has anyone done it? I guess I'm
perfect postseason.
I'm ignorant.
NBA?
Yeah.
No, it's a bunch of 16-1. 16-1s. Couple 16-1s.
Okay.
2017 Warriors went 16-1. The Lakers with Shaq in 0-1 lost one game, and I believe it was the first game against Philadelphia.
Step over with AI.
It was the first game against Philadelphia. They lost that. They were 16-1 that postseason. A number of teams that went 16-2. The 86 Celtics went 16-2. I want to say the 83 Sixers went 16-3. I'm shooting from the hip, but my interpretation, I don't think it's.
No,
there have been a number of teams that have went like 8-0 when there was 2 rounds.
Yep.
But not necessarily since.
You never see it, and
it's not gonna happen.
No,
it's not gonna happen.
It's not.
It's more like, and I don't think it's gonna happen. It doesn't happen in the NHL either. So I do wonder. And remember, you got an undefeated team in the NHL. Carolina hasn't lost yet either. They're 8-0.
All right, number 5.
Number 5.
Theo Dorsey earlier today on Theoretically Speaking declared this Final Four of NBA the best conference finals matchup since 2012, obviously. And you're going to have to help me out with the Western Conference side. But LeBron and the Celtics.
That was the Thunder beating the Spurs.
Thank you. And then LeBron beating the Thunder in 5. So, or rather the Heat.
That was young gun Thunder taking down
Westbrook,
a Spurs team that
Harden.
was also like experienced, great on the front end of a eventual two-year run.
Yep.
But it was a young gun team. They were sort of akin to the Spurs.
I agree.
Thunder that year.
Nick Collison was on that team.
It was Collison. It was Kendrick Perkins. It was Durant, Westbrook, and Harden.
Yep. And young Harden, fun
3
Harden.
3 MVPs. Is that crazy to say that the Spurs team might have 3 MVPs on that team?
Fun Harden.
They might. They got Steph Castle, Dylan Harper, and Wembanyama.
Rate it from 1 to 10, the Final 4 teams.
So this Spurs series is a 10 out of 10. You're higher on the Cleveland series than I am. I'll be on top of it, but I do think that the Cavaliers, I just think you're going to see run out. You saw what the Pistons ran on the gas. I think you're going to see that eventually with Cleveland. Remember, there's not a lot of 3-day rest periods. It's all every other day because they want to stack these games, so they're playing quickly.
I get it.
The first round is when you have 3 days off. The second round is sometimes when you have 3 days off because there's a lot of games. The NBA can schedule it that way. Now, when you're doing conference final, you got to play. You're playing Tuesday, you're playing Thursday, you're playing Saturday, you're playing Monday. Like, it's quick, and therefore, I just don't know if I see the Cavaliers' legs holding up, and falling down 2-0 like they did against the Pistons. Do we anticipate them really to turn things around and win in their home building? I'm not so sure if I see that Spurs series is a 10. Cavs series is, I would say, probably a 6 or a 7.
With that said, I give it a 7.5 totality. Is that fair? You're right. The Western Conference side is great. Maybe it's the homer in me. I do think the Cavs can maybe extend it to 6, but we'll have to wait and see. So I think New York, listen, the key to that car is Karl Anthony Towns. And I think if the Cavs bigs can get out of their head, I think that they can play tough enough. But the Knicks, the last time, I know different rosters. The last time the Knicks played the Cavaliers, they won with their physicality. I want to see if the Cavs can match that. And, Colin, that was the 5 at 5 presented by our good friends at Flagler Credit Union.
You know, if you're coming down to FAU and heading over to the inaugural Lou Groza Flag Football Awards, if you're heading down 95, you're looking to get somewhere, and you get into a little bit of a fender bender, if an elderly lady drives you off the road like what happened to Mike Rizzo a couple weeks ago in Palm Beach County, and you don't know who to call, who's going to get my back here? Who's going to help me get back what I deserve? Who am I going to rely on? And then all of a sudden you turn to Anajar and Levine accident attorneys. Car accidents, truck accidents, slippers, and falls. Mark Anajar and Glenn Levine will fight for you. They don't even get paid unless you do, and they work tirelessly to get you the maximum compensation that you deserve. You can't settle for anybody in South Florida. You got to go demand the best and go get the best because they are available, and it's Mark Anajar and Glenn Levine. Anajar and Levine accident attorneys are the real difference, and pick up the phone. Take back control of your life. Call today. Call 1-800-747-FREE, 1-800-747-3733. We'll bring in and loop in a pioneer of the football community on the other side of things. Dr. Jen Welter will join us, who is a 14-year professional football veteran, who is somebody who has a doctorate in psychology and a master's in sports psychology. She's from Vero Beach originally, went to Sebastian River, so she's local, but also was the first female coach in the history of the NFL. Back in 2015, she was coach on the Arizona Cardinals. Made history there. Is making histories on a whole bunch of different other avenues and routes. She will join us live here at FAU next. That is Dr. Jen Welter. Looking forward to talking to her, doing a whole lot more. Stay tuned for it. It's on the other side of things. It's Mike Rizzo, Colin Russo, Russo and Rizzo, ESPN 106.3.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. This is ESPN 106.3.
Kaiser University's flagship campus, the 100-acre residential campus at 2600 North Military Trail in West Palm Beach, extends Kaiser University's educational offerings to over 100 degrees within the heart of South Florida. Kaiser University also has an athletic program with 29 national championships, including the reigning champs in swimming and diving, lacrosse and tennis. Visit KUSeahawks.com for the latest on the championship flagship campus of Kaiser University.
Today's tax tip is brought to you by Anshin Accountants and Advisors with Andrew Cohen, Senior Manager in Anshin State and Local Tax Group.
In today's mobile world, residency is one of the most important areas of state taxation. The rules determine which states can tax your income and hinge on two key concepts: domicile and statutory residency. Your domicile is the state you consider your permanent home, while statutory residency can apply if you have a permanent place of abode in a state which you spent more than 183 days. At Anshin, a partner-owned firm since 1923, we help taxpayers avoid double taxation. If you're a taxpayer with ties in multiple states, looking to reduce your state tax exposure, let Anshin deliver value where others can't.
For more tax tips from Anshin, visit Anshin.com. That's ANCHIN.com. Anshin Accountants and Advisors, helping you recalculate what's possible.
Ready to take on any terrain? The all-new 2026 Defender 110 P300S is here. Built for those who crave adventure without compromising on luxury. Lease the powerful 2026 Defender 110 P300S for just $879 per month for 36 months. Whether you're tackling the toughest roads or cruising the city, the Defender is ready for it all. Don't wait. Visit Land Rover Palm Beach today and experience the Defender like never before. Terms and conditions apply. See dealer for details.
Hi, this is Scott Smith of Smith Ball, Baez & Prather, Florida Injury Lawyers. I have said it many times before, and I will continue to say it for many years to come. There is never a good time for a car accident to occur, and most certainly never ever a good time to suffer injuries in any type of an accident. The accident and its overall aftermath will usually cause pain, difficulty, and stress. Florida law allows accident victims to recover compensation for such losses, injuries, and damages. But such recovery is often not obtained easily and can require a lengthy fight with an insurance company. If you've been injured in an accident, call us now. Don't delay. The initial consultation is completely free of charge. The sooner you call us, the sooner we can put our experienced legal team to work for you. Don't hesitate or pause for another minute. Our experience, knowledge, and resources could be working for you just minutes after the call. If you've been injured, the lawyers at Smith Ball, Baez & Prather will help. Call us at 500-HELP, 500-HELP. With Smith Ball, Baez & Prather, help is just a phone call away. Offices Palm Beach Gardens, Boca Raton, and Port St. Lucie.
Some nights, you want to be right in it without being out of it. That's where Gießen 0% comes in. Crafted from premium Marlboro wine with the alcohol gently removed so you still get that crisp, refreshing taste. Citrus, tropical notes, proper wine just without the buzz. So you could stay sharp, stay social, and still savor every sip. Because great moments don't need alcohol to feel full. Gießen 0%. Real wine for real life. The moment is now.
Let's get back to the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. This is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
I agree.
It is Colin Russo. It is Mike Rizzo. It is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3. We are at FAU down in Boca Raton at the inaugural Luke Groza Flag Football Awards. The first year of it happening tonight, 6:30. We're going to have Theo Dorsey emceeing the event. Hopefully not distracting people too much
Speed it up,
with his stories and everything like that. But a keynote speaker who's joining us now live, streaming live on YouTube at ESPN South Florida, ESPN West Palm on Twitter and Facebook. Is Dr. Jen Welter. Dr. Jen Welter made basically a pioneer in football in a number of different avenues, including in which the NFL, where you were the first NFL coach that is female in the history of the league, and also a 14-year professional football veteran. You join us now, Doctor. How are you? Welcome in. How are you today? What's going on?
I'm good. I think I was also the shortest female coach in NFL history. Maybe.
There was not a shorter guy in there.
I don't know. I don't think so. I think I got shortest as well.
So
that might be my most proudest accomplishment.
Welcome in, and you're the keynote speaker tonight at the inaugural Luke Groza Flag Football Awards. You're from Vero Beach originally, went to Sebastian River, so your local ties. Tell me a little bit about how the sport itself from the female side, because flag football in Florida has sort of been – that was the catalyst, and the amount that it's expanded last 5-10 years, even last 2-3 years, has been unbelievable. Tell me a little bit about what you've seen from your perspective.
Yeah, Florida has led the way in terms of having varsity high school flag football, and over the past couple years, the growth has just been exponential. I would say it's an unstoppable sport, and one would say it's right on time, and also why the heck has it taken so long, right? Like you can say both because it's such an amazing sport, and why wouldn't you? This is what I always said about like girls in football, like this is America's game. Why wouldn't you want us to play that game that has arguably, I don't know, stolen Sunday from the church and found its way into all of our Thanksgiving, right?
And
Hang on.
every single holiday in the history
Stole
of the
Christmas
holidays.
from the NBA.
Right, exactly.
Planted their flag, on St. Nick's Day. How about
They
that?
took Thanksgiving Eve this year, too, which is a mistake. But that's what they're doing. It's too powerful, yeah.
It's such an amazing sport, and there's no other team sport like football. So finally, for the first time, girls can dream football in the same way that boys have, right? You can get a varsity college scholarship to play football now. You see it 2028 coming into the Olympics, and it's going to be, or arguably is in the process of becoming, the next global game, because flag allows for something that tackle didn't, and that's all you need is a ball. And so it's just going to continue.
Now, Doctor, you mentioned you were surprised that it took this long to boom. Well, let me ask you, why do you think it's booming now? Why do you think now girls are starting to play more and we're seeing the sport grow comparatively to maybe 5, 6, 7 years ago?
Well, flag is growing, first of all, and
Right.
flag has the opportunity to be global. And, tackle, I saw it for the first time in 2017. I was the head coach of the first Australian women's national team. And as I'm bringing down and distance markers through the airport, I'm like literally moving the chains, right? I'm moving the chains for Florida or for football globally. And I go, this is why it's not been a global game, because it's so expensive. It's so equipment intensive, and the rosters are huge.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden I was like, wow, it's flag. Because all you need is a ball, right? That's what always they would say about soccer. Like, okay, so all you need is a ball. And it's such a great game. So all of a sudden, it's like the Olympics, and you could see it. And then it's got to be global. And that's the place. And then the dominoes just begin to fall, right? Like you have the growth of women in football, which I would say is obviously a catalyst, because somebody like me, I couldn't dream football. I couldn't dream, like, I want to be her one day. So you start to see that, like, both, on the sidelines, and you see it in other places. And then, you kind of see the Taylor Swift effect, where girls are like, this is an amazing game, and we want to start watching and playing. And you have that global opportunity, and then you start to see it, boom, one state after the next. Like, oh, this is the next varsity sport. And you have NIL, and you have all of these things, and I think it's just the timing is right. The sport has been right, but the timing is right. And we used to say the future of football is female, and I would say, and now the future is here.
That's Dr. Jen Welter joining us now, who is a 14-year football veteran, the first coach in the history of the National Football League, a pioneer for the sport of football, not only for women's athletics, but generally football, period. Let's get into your career a little bit and how you got started. Growing up in Vero Beach, Sebastian River, it wasn't necessarily, flag wasn't what it was now. Football for women wasn't what it was now. It takes people like you to sort of take it into a different direction, make it possible, if you will. How'd you get started in it?
So I actually tried to play in high school, and I was told no. Girls didn't play football back then. Flag wasn't yet an opportunity.
So you showed up to the coach and you said, "Can I get on the team?" And they just didn't even give you an opportunity to go test yourself?
Yes, it's true. So, Vero Beach High School was where I fell in love with football, and then I went to Sebastian, and there's a big contrast between the level of football at Vero Beach High School and Sebastian when I went, and I watched Sebastian play football, and I was like, I could help them. I was quite happy.
That's a good way to say that.
Hang on, who's their coach? That guy's our guy, the coach. What's his name?
Sebastian River?
Yeah, it's our guy. Anyway.
Spanish River, you're thinking
There you
of, not
okay.
Sebastian River.
Sorry. Anyway,
But
continue your story.
I literally went to Randy Bethel, who was the head coach at the time, and I was like, Coach Bethel, I can make your team better. And I was a problem as a soccer team, or as a soccer player. I was a sweeper, number 13, and I said I wore that because it was bad luck for everybody else.
Yep.
And he said, Miss Welter, you are a heck of an athlete, and I think you could actually help my football team. However, I'm a football player. I've been one my whole life, and here's what's going to happen. You're going to make some guy look bad. He's going to cheap shot you, and I'm going to kill him and go to jail. Please don't do it. And I kind of respected the answer, I got to say.
You know what, Coach?
Yeah.
Right? If he would have said, you can't do it because you're a girl,
Yeah,
I
you're
probably
not
would have
strong
done
enough,
it.
not
Yeah.
fast enough. Yeah, then
Yes.
you're like, oh.
Right, and then I would have had to do it.
Yes.
And so then I went to Boston College, and I saw this sport where they got to tackle and they threw the ball backwards, and I didn't understand
Rugby.
it.
Yeah.
But I was going to do it, right? Like I was like, oh, I'm definitely doing this. I finally get to tackle.
Yes.
I had no idea what the rules were, but I was going to do this. And so I played it all 4 years at BC, and then went to an open tryout for the team called the Mass Mutiny, and made it. Made it off an open tryout, and I was like, this is what I'm meant to do for the rest of my life. And the promise I made was I'm going to step up to every challenge the game puts in my way, which ended up with, 4 championships for the Dallas Diamonds, 2-time gold medalists with Team USA on the first and second team.
Jeez.
Which was the promise we started then, was like, this will be an Olympic sport one day. And you have to show parity. So all of the women who joined those teams, we did it to hopefully play the game forward to where it is today. And so, the girls that are having the opportunities that they are now in flag, like we're seeing, obviously Florida has led the way, but the states that keep adding, like they're standing on the strong shoulder pads of so many women who have believed in football for a long time and have been playing the game forward. And then, we're starting to see those opportunities open up.
Now, and when you got involved on the National Football League and the coaching side of things, when you were involved with the Arizona Cardinals, how'd that all play out in terms of getting started there and making those connections, kind of getting your foot in the door? You can't go to every Coach Bethel and say, Coach, I want an opportunity. How did you do it?
So it actually started with the Texas Revolution, which was in indoor football. So I was the first woman to play in men's pro football as a non-kicker.
Yep.
So if I'm going on the field, it's definitely not kicking, or it's an unintentional onside. We're in big trouble if I'm kicking. So I played the whole season, and doing that earned the respect of the teammates.
Right.
And so we had a new head coach come in the following season, Wendell Davis, former Dallas Cowboy. He saw how the guys related to me, and he basically said, you have to coach my football team. My instinct was, no, girls don't do that. And I turned him down. And guys, you know this very well. When a woman turns you down, she becomes that much hotter, right?
We're persistent.
Right, you're persistent. And football coaches don't like no. So that combination, the next day he called me back and told me about myself. He said, you remember how I told you not a lot of girls going to give you this opportunity, you're taking this job? I said, yeah. He said, good, I took it for you. You're coaching for me.
Good, you start tomorrow.
Yeah.
And by the way, you can't quit.
Right.
Otherwise, the entire narrative surrounding women coaching in men's pro football will be, we had a girl once and she quit.
Yep.
So I was completely like,
He gave you no choice.
This is Coach
No
Davis.
choice.
He gave you no
Wow.
choice.
It's Wendell Davis.
Yeah, wow.
Yes. And so I'm coaching in indoor football, realize I'm actually pretty good at it. And when Sarah Thomas was hired as the first female ref in NFL history,
Right.
a reporter asked Bruce Arians if he could ever see a woman coaching in the NFL. And BA said, the second a woman proves that she can make these guys better, she'll be hired. So I eventually called the Cardinals on behalf of myself, as if I wasn't myself. I was maybe not the
Were you a
assistant
pseudo agent?
coach.
I'm the agent of Jen Welter.
I
But,
was, yeah, I
I
was,
know this girl, that's really good at
I got
football.
a girl.
She could
Yeah.
come on by. It's great. I'll be there. Wait, no, she'll be there.
Who's very much like that. Yes, I was not the agent. I was the assistant to the head coach.
Oh,
and
interesting.
my head coach wanted to talk to their head coach.
Okay.
I was apparently very convincing because he took the head coach's number. Now, I completely thought I had gotten blown off, but I was like, I'm so ballsy, right? Like, I called
Yep.
the Cardinals. How cool is this? Never thought he'd call back. And a couple of days, like probably 2 weeks later, I walk into practice and he's like, you'll never guess who I talked to yesterday. It was Bruce Arians. And he said, tell me about this girl.
Wow.
And so, yeah, I mean, it really was like a cool progression that, and I always say, like, breaking barriers is contagious. Sarah Thomas breaking that barrier left reporters, who I very much respect and thank for asking tough questions, who led to that question, who then led to BA making an answer. And then I say, his offensive philosophy is known as no risk it, no biscuit. And I say he, definitely risked it and got the biscuit.
Yep.
And, and what a cool opportunity to then see so many women continue on that trajectory and continue to, to continue on that legacy.
And what was it about resonating with the players that you
Yep.
found to be not only challenging, but how'd you get that done? Was there
Yeah.
animosity? Was there a little bit of an ego that you had to sort of break through? Tell me about
And
that.
was there fear from your end that, hey, maybe I'm not going to be able to resonate to said NFL players?
So I had Terry Glenn as a mentor when I was with the Texas Revolution, and unfortunately we lost him too quickly in this world. And he gave me the best advice I've ever had in football. He said, be 100% authentic. He said, if you are exactly the same player or person that you are with those guys every day, they will absolutely love you. But if you are fake in any way, they will eat you alive.
Yep.
And so I kind of went like, okay, like, how am I going to do this? Like, I got to be uniquely me, because obviously, like, I'm not going to coach the same way the guys are. And thankfully, I have a PhD in sports psychology, so that helped quite a bit. But I said, you have to be coachable. And those guys really were excited to be a part of history. So I think I was lucky in that regard, because we had leaders on the team like Kevin Minter and Patrick Peterson and Ty Matthew and
Yep.
Larry Fitzgerald, who, kind of went out of their way to be like, you know what, we're glad you're here. Like, and, let's get this work done. And then probably my scared first moment, right? You have that moment where you're like, oh no, right? It's like early on.
First day of school.
Yeah, first day of school.
You thought you screwed
palms are
up.
sweaty.
Yeah, there's something. Yep.
I'm coaching one of the guys, young guy. His nickname was Pound Cake, and I'm showing him something, and you have that moment when a super vet walks by, and all of his attention, like rookie vet, right? Like all of his attention. I'm mid sentence, and he looks at me. He's like, "Hey Zoe, what do you think I could do to get better?" And he looks and he goes, "What you need to do is listen to Coach right there, because I was listening to her and she's spot on." And he keeps walking. And I don't even think he knew what he did in that moment. But of course, Pound Cake looks back at me and he's like, "Okay, Coach."
Yep.
And Zoe and I are still friends to this day. And I'm like, man, you in that moment. And he just laughs. And I'm like, no.
But even for you, it's the validation for yourself.
Yeah.
And it's like you prove to yourself, like, hey, I'm able to do this. And that's probably what took you to the next level as far as being a coach in the NFL and continue to do a great job at it. So.
Yeah. I mean, relationships are so important. And I think people forget, like, these players are real people and they have real stuff. And for me, I always said, like, my rule is, and I still go by this, like, if you need a minute, I always got a minute in football and in life. And it was those minutes that developed relationships that actually led to the story that most people heard, because it was one of the biggest stories in football at the time. I left notes in my players' lockers on their first game.
Oh, wow.
So you get the linebackers, right? And it's a funny story. I know we don't have the whole time, but like, I wrote these notes and I stayed up all night, and I didn't even know how I was going to get them in their lockers, because I had decided I wasn't going to go in the locker room before the game, because I don't want to catch any sites I shouldn't see, because I might not ever unsee them, and I might never get eye contact ever again.
Yep.
So I leave these notes in their lockers, and I'm like, Okay. So, a couple of the guys before the game come up to me and they're like, Coach, I really appreciated those words. And I was like, yes, not the worst coaching decision in
There
the
you go.
history of the
Yes.
NFL.
Different, yeah.
And then I'm after the game. Again, I love reporters, and I thank you guys for asking hard questions. But this one reporter comes up to me, and she's like doing her thing, and she's like, "History was made tonight at University City of Phoenix Field. For the first time, a woman took the sidelines as a coach." She turns to me and she's like, "And coach, I heard you did something very special for your players. You left notes in their lockers.
Oh.
Would you care to comment?" Oh my God, I was like,
Yeah.
I thought the locker room was like Vegas. I
Yeah.
thought this was us.
Sacred.
And no one else
Yes.
would know. And Kevin Minter, my captain, totally sold me out. But he told the reporter in his entire football career, he'd never had a coach care like that. And so to me, that was really the important thing, which is it's always relationship. No matter what you're doing, whether it's in the football field or in life, like these are real people, and relationship can get you a really long way. And so it's still that human connection that I think was something special in my career. And I've still had guys who literally, like Kevin Minter, actually, I'll go back to him because he did the surprise thing where, they do that interview and they're like, "We heard you did this special thing, and, here's the note
Yeah.
that he read," and you're like, "Oh, not the note," and you want me to
a
read it on
moment.
camera, and I
Yes.
really want to kill you, right? Like
But you have to read it.
like
Yeah.
like when you squish the
Yes.
ants in your head, like you're dead already, right? Like now you have to read it, and you're trying not to cry, and you're like, "I'm never gonna cry," and feel like you're gonna cry, and I'm reading the thing, and I get a text from Kevin, and he goes, "Hey coach, make sure you get my note back. I'm keeping that forever."
Wow.
And it's like people think about the big things, the like running out on the stadium. Meanwhile, I'm just hoping I don't face plant, right? Like
Right.
Yep.
international news, first female coach in NFL history. She's safe.
Ran over a cameraman.
Right? Like,
yeah.
oh no, right? Like those are the things you're thinking about. But like the real ones, the ones you hold with you or I do, are like that text message from
Yep.
him. And like that this
And
is the thing that
The
matters.
best part, you did it being yourself.
Yeah.
Now that's Dr. Jen Welter, who is a multi-year football veteran, one of the multi-time Olympic gold medalists, and also the first coach in the history of the NFL that is female. Joining us now live on Russo and Rizzo, live here from the inaugural Lou Groza Flag Football Awards. One thing about it, coaching linebackers and talking to defensive players, football is violent. And it's more violent if you're a defensive player as
Absolutely.
well. Those guys are, especially linebackers. Those
Yeah.
people are, those guys are wired differently.
Yeah.
Right? They're physical specimens, but they're wired in the acts of violence.
Yeah.
How did you approach that as a coach, and not only through like your playing career and everything like that, the violence of it all, and inciting it, motivating it? Coaches, defensive
intense.
coaches are sitting there like 3/4 at the 3-point stance, barking at people. Like, how did you
Folks,
do it? How did you get
we
everybody
have-
fired up?
We have these pillars, and you started punching one. So I don't think this, I don't think you had to dig deep to find anything to go try to tell a guy to hit something. Right?
You have that. I know you do, but like that violent gene. Like, what was your thing to get these guys riled up?
Well, first of all, I was always active in drills. Some of the coaches that are to the side, not me.
Were you
ever.
tackling? You were tackling the dummy?
Oh yeah. So I played linebacker, and came from rugby. So
Yep.
tackling is my thing. And I actually have a hips wrap drop drill. Like I think everybody should do the 3-step drop drill. You guys know that one because if you're still back here, you're losing your power. I say you're leaving all your junk in the trunk. You can't ever extend. So the way that I could fix it or make them do it was they actually had to pick me up and walk 3 steps because I could feel if they weren't doing it.
Yep.
And notoriously, I've always been a hands-on coach, but funniest one, and I'll go to the Alliance American Football where I was actually coaching D-line, not linebackers. And we had a guy, love him. His name's Chief. Big Chief, 6'7".
Big guy.
Okay.
Yep.
And he is coming off the ball high.
Yep.
Now, one of our coaches, I won't say any names, wouldn't coach him because he was kind of afraid of him. Chief had a bit of a reputation, right? And I was like, I can fix this. Right? So I go over to Chief and I'm like, "Hey,
Hey, Chief!
Yeah, right.
yeah."
Clean it up.
Let's go, man.
But I was like, "Hey, Chief, I gotta tell you something." And I was like, he was like, "What?" And I was not his coach yet at this time. And he was like, "What, coach?" And I was like, "You're coming off the ball way too high." And he was like, "Okay." And he was like, "Why didn't anybody else tell me it?" And I was like, "Because they're scared of you." And he was like, "You're not scared of me?" I was like, "Absolutely not. I watched you FaceTime your daughter." I was like, "You're big. You're a big guy. You got a big heart. You're fine."
That resonated with him.
Right?
Yes, yes.
And he goes, he's like, "All right." And I was like, "You said I was coming off too high." I was like, "Yeah, I can fix it as long as you promise to do exactly what I say." And he goes, "Well, what is that?" And I was like, "That's not what I said." I was like, "You have to promise that you'll do exactly what I say." And he was like, "What are you going to have me do?" And I was like, "That's not what I said."
Yeah, right. You signed the paper first.
Right? You got to sign it. And I was like, "You have to agree." And he was like, "All right, fine." And I was like, "Okay, great. So what you're going to do, get in a 3-point stance." And he was like, "Okay." He gets in a 3-point stance. And I stand directly in front of him. And I said, "As you come out of your stance, you have to pick me up." And he stands up and he looks at me. He's like, "Coach, I can't do that. I'll kill you." And I was like, "If you do it wrong, correct, I'm dead. But if you do it right, it should be easy. I'm light for you." And I was like, "But if you're leaving your weight back, it's going to be real hard." And he like goes back down and he was like, right? So he does it and he picks me up and he was like, "Oh," and I was like, "Okay, left all your junk in the trunk, boom, boom, boom." And I could make him come out of his stance because I could feel it. I could feel if you were imbalanced on one side or another, but he'd have to get so low, right? Because he had to pick me up under my hips. So you have to come out of the ball real low.
Yep.
And so I used to make him pick me up, go back, like all the way to the 50 and back. We did it for about a week. Finally, he comes in. We're doing one-on-ones, and he is like killing it. Everybody looks at him. "Big Chief, what you been doing?" And he's like, "Yo, that's Coach Jan." And they were like, "Coach, you been holding out?" And he was like, and I said, "Chief, do you want to show him?" And he's like, "Yeah, Coach, I do." So we show him, and one of the other guy goes, "Yo, Coach, I can't do that. I'll kill you."
Yeah.
Chief goes, "Not if you do it right, you won't."
He signed the paper. He
He
knows.
signed the paper.
He signed the paper.
He knew. But the way I say it is like violence and like that's really about confidence in what you're doing, right? If you can play fast, you can play well.
Yep.
Like when I used to play, I used to tackle the quarterback. I'd sack her, and then I'd be like, "Hey, baby, I'll be right back." And I'd like blow kisses, right? Like it's not always angry. And I think a lot of the times the perception is that you have to be really angry in order to be good.
Yeah.
The best ones I've been around were playing a game. Like I'll look at right now, if you go to the UFL, one of the guys I coached is on there. PETA, he plays out of the Battlehawks.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say his
St.
name
Louis.
wrong.
Yeah,
Yes.
St. Louis, yep.
I'm going to say his name wrong because he's Tongan and I mess it up every time. But PETA Tame Pinu, and he's been Defensive Player of the Year several times. That guy will sack you and then be like, "Hey, buddy, I'll be right back next play." And he like smiles at you as he slits your throat.
Yep.
Like some of the very best defensive players that I've been around, they're not angry like you think. And it's the confidence that makes them play fast, and it's the speed that kills.
Wow, interesting. So it's
Yeah.
almost it's an overrated aspect to be like an inherently violent individual, but if you're doing everything right, then you could, that confidence will let you play
Yeah.
fast. Wow.
Yeah.
How about that? Well, Doctor, we appreciate you giving us a little bit of an insight into your coaching career, your extensive career. You've done such great things, not only for the sport, but also to kind of shed more light and give more opportunities because, like you said, it's a copycat culture breaking a barrier like that and kind of breaking your way into football. And then all of a sudden, once the first one goes, it's a floodgate. And now all of a sudden you see football and flag football specifically just exploding throughout the United States. And that is in a lot of part to the things that you do and all your colleagues that you have worked with throughout the years. So congratulations on such a great career. I'm looking forward to hearing what you have to say to the players tonight, and we appreciate the time.
Yeah, thank you guys
Doc,
so much.
thanks so much. Pleasure
Hey,
is ours.
You
A
know
lot
what
of
I
fun.
mean? Once it's been done, it can't be undone.
Yeah.
And I think that is the cool part because you can create momentum. And I will put it out to all of your listeners. Florida started it, right? It's been here. And I think this is a huge next step in really elevating that recognition for the girls who are playing the game, playing it well, and playing it forward.
You heard her. That's Dr. Jen Welter joining us now on Russo and Rizzo. We'll take a time out here. We appreciate the time. That is Mike Rizzo, Colin Rizzo, Elise Bustamante. Do a little Hard Rock Bet Blitz the book next on Russo and Rizzo, ESPN 106.3.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. This is ESPN 106.3.
Burger Mania is on at Duffy Sports Grill, and these are not your average burgers. Try the Bacon Mac and Cheese Burger, a half-pound Angus patty stacked with creamy mac and cheese, applewood smoked bacon, and crispy onion strings. Or go bold with the Frito Pie Burger, loaded with chili, cheddar, crunchy Fritos, and fresh jalapenos. And for the purists, the Double Smash Burger. The Burger Mania menu, now through May 31st at Duffy Sports Grill. Duffy's, our game is always on.
What's the Anajar Levine difference? When you're injured in a car crash, we focus on your case so you can focus on the one thing that matters most, getting better. I'm Glenn Levine with Anajar Levine. We'll fight to get you the maximum compensation you deserve. Call our legal team right now for a free consultation, 1-800-747-FREE. We'll help you take back control of your life. Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733.
In office, West Palm Beach.
South Florida, it is time to bring your culture to the park. Join the Marlins Saturday, May 23rd at 4:10 p.m. for the T-Mobile Cuban Heritage Celebration, presented by Cubavera at Lone Depot Park. Watch the Fightin' Fish take on the Mets and score an exclusive Sugar Kings jersey with your special ticket package. Plus, enjoy a post-game concert presented by Celsius to close out the night. It's going to be an unforgettable night of music, culture, and Marlins baseball. Be part of the celebration. Buy your tickets at marlins.com/Cuba.
Tired of being sidelined by a sports injury? Get back in the game with Baptist Health Orthopedic Care. Whether you're a professional athlete or even a weekend warrior, you can get back to doing what you love with our compassionate orthopedic team. Experience a new level of care and get back to your best. Welcome to being treated like a pro. Make an appointment today at baptisthealth.net/ortho or call 833-556-6764.
Let's get back to the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. This is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
These girls that are going to win some awards tonight at the inaugural Lou Groza Flag Football Awards, and you'll see them playing in the Olympics in a couple of years. You'll also see conference finals tonight. If you bet on any of that, make some money. All of a sudden, these girls are superstars. They get big brand deals. Where am I going to put my money?
Yep.
Flag Credit Union's the place to go.
Or even, folks, I'll put it even simpler for you. I just booked a trip to L.A., and I used it for my savings account with my good friends at Flagler Credit Union. I was building toward it, and I did it with them. They are the ones I handle with my finances. I have a personal checking account and a savings account. Flagler Credit Union is a division of Dort Financial. Dort Financial just won an award for one of the top regional credit unions. So when you think of Flagler Credit Union, think of the award-winning Flagler Credit Union. I mentioned personal checking accounts. They also offer business checking accounts. And, folks, if you need to take out some money, since they're a not-for-profit cooperative, they'll charge you less when you need to borrow money to purchase a car, make home improvements, take that Mr. or Mrs. on that vacation. Think of Flagler Credit Union, folks. They got 4 convenient locations across Palm Beach County, Boca Raton, Lake Clark Shores, North Palm Beach, West Palm Beach. We're right here at Florida Atlantic University. Flagler Credit Union is the official credit union of Florida Atlantic Athletics. And Colin and I, we drove by the stadium. We saw the big words, Flagler Credit Union, right on the stadium. We are in the heart of Flagler Credit Union country. You can open up an account today by visiting flaglercu.org or stopping by one of those 4 locations.
2 big games tonight, Game 7 of Sabres Canadians and also Game 1 of Spurs Thunder. Let's get into a little Blitz the Book with Hard Rock Bet.
Send some heat. Pin your ears back. It's time to Blitz the Book. Presented by Hard Rock Bet.
All right, games tonight. Let's start in the NHL side of things. The Canadians are minus 105 to win tonight. The Sabres are minus 115. Goal line is plus 1.5 goals in favor of the Montreal Canadiens, and the over-under is 5.5. I like Canadians and the over.
Canada teams always choke when it counts.
Every game.
Give me the Sabres.
Okay, fair enough. Every game this series, outside of one, has been over over 5.5.
Quickly, you tell me, you're high on Montreal.
Well,
are they going to be that team that could get over the hurdle?
Here's the thing.
Canada?
Montreal won a Game 7 on the road against Tampa. Can they do it again?
Yeah.
You know, that's
it's
a lot to ask.
That's tough.
2 straight road
they
Game
are
7s.
They are battle tested.
But 2 straight road sets. So I'm just doing it off of rooting for them. I know Buffalo's got a little bit of America's team to it, but I love Montreal. So you like Buffalo
Yeah.
in this game?
Yeah.
Minus 115?
Yeah,
I
why
definitely
not?
think this has been a goal-scoring series, so
Okay.
over is the move.
Over in Buffalo. Let's lock that in right now.
Okay, NBA, Game 1, Spurs are plus 6.5.
I like the Thunder
The Thunder night?
tonight.
Easy?
10-point win.
Right.
It's they're rested comparatively more than the Spurs. I know it didn't take 7 games for San Antonio. I like this game. I think the Spurs steal the next game.
All right, yeah, they're going to go hard for one of these two.
I think they steal the next game.
I can live with that. I'm going to root for the Spurs this series, but I could totally see the Thunder winning tonight. Kind of shutting everybody up. The Spurs have beat them 4 of the last 5 times.
Right.
The Thunder are going to be motivated to kind of prove that this team's not our kryptonite.
I would love if the Spurs win this first game and completely flip the series in Game 1, but I'm going to go with Oklahoma City for tonight. I think the Game 2 is the one we'd get on.
Minus 6.5 is the line for tonight's game between the Spurs and the Thunder. Game 1 that is going to be in Oklahoma City. Thunder got some time off. They haven't played in just about a week, whereas the Spurs are coming about 4 or 5 days since their last series win. So we'll keep an eye on that. Looking forward
We're running
to
out of
watching that
games.
tomorrow.
Brother, we're running out of games on the NHL
I
and
like
the NBA.
it, though, because it's one game a night.
Yeah.
I like the one game a night.
I kind of do, too. You don't got to keep your eye on 3,
I like
5
it.
monitors.
I like it. I think the next week's going to be a lot of fun. It's hard. The first round is exhausting because game at 6, game at 7:30, and then game at 10:45 because it starts late. So I actually like the fact that it's 8 o'clock. I hate 8:30 for the Western Conference. I don't like that. But I like the fact that it's consistently the same time, same network, same team. I'm going to get behind that.
All right, now, there's a buffet tonight.
Yeah, hopefully we get lucky.
Are you going to eat?
I'm going to eat, but hopefully
Okay.
it's solid.
Yeah.
It should be good.
I told you, I'm on the diet. I've been watching.
Well,
a little worried.
But they're not going to feed you crap. They're going to feed you good. There's going to be a lean protein here. You'll be ready to rock and roll.
A little worried.
The inaugural Luke Groza Flag Football Awards are tonight. You're going to have a couple of big-time winners getting honored and nominated, and courtesy of Dr. Jen Welter.
She was
what
great.
A riot. What a
oh,
riot.
my gosh.
What a riot.
She was great.
What a riot. The first coach in the history of the NFL that is female. Appreciate her giving us the time. Appreciate Elias Bustamante keeping us up with the airwaves. See you next time. If you missed any of the program, go listen back at Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts, all those great places. We will see you next time. Colin Russo, Mike Rizzo, Russo and Rizzo, ESPN 106.3.